Listen to me, couples. If you are in a committed relationship and you are sexually active, or you are in marriage, you need to stop eating each other without marinating one another. First, start with marination. Marinate mtu wako vizuri. Mumarinate, muguzaguza kwanza. Kiss, alright? Wacheni kurukiana hivi kama ni kuattack. Mmekutana tu kwa kitanda dakika mbili mumemaliza hiyo maneno. Sex is going even to be so painful for you guys. So, marinate one another. Guzaneni. Kama unajua bibi yako anaguzagwa magoti, dunia inaachana. Guza magoti. Kama ni makwapa, guza hiyo makwapa. Kama ni makucha, guza pahali anapenda kuguzwa, dunia inaachana. Guza hapo. And that's what is going to make sex good. That's what is going to make you enjoy sex as a couple. Marinate one another first. Acheni kukurana tu hivi kama hamjamarinetiana. Marinate one another. It's going to make sex sweet and enjoyable for you guys. Hello, my viewer. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're smiling today because the information that I have for you today, it's conk. Ni ile kali sana. So today I want us to talk about various issues why you or someone else is not enjoying sex in marriage or relationship. And let me ask you something. When was the last time somebody was willing to give you facts, to give you point blank, to talk in a broad light today about sex and issues related to sex? These days, sex has been traumatized, stigmatized, sorry, not traumatized, but stigmatized. So, it's rare mtu one akiongea kuhusu sex. Na mwenye anaongea akiwa amenyamaza, akiwa hataki ku-expound sana because it's stigmatized. Alright? But here I am. I want to help you. I want to help someone else. Maybe, information unaweza isikia na usaidie mtu mwingine mwenye unajua kuna some of the issues that we are going to talk about. Because sex is among the leading issues that are responsible for broken marriages. That is responsible for broken relationships. Alright? So most of the marriages, why they are not working, it's because of sex. Most of the marriages, why there is no happiness, those people are just there, wamekaa tu hapo there, they are just there, wanagoja tu wazeeke, wale watoto halafu ni hivyo, story ishe. It's because of sex. Alright? So today I want to address key issues on the issues that or the barriers to enjoying sex in marriage and relationships. I also want to touch on sexual dysfunctions. And maybe the causes kidogo. Maybe one day I'm going to have a topic where I need to address each of the issues in depth. Alright? Good. Without much ado. The first reason why you are most likely not enjoying sex is because there is no communication in your relationship. Najua vizuri, kila wakati ukisikia kuhusu relationships, lazima communication itajwe hapo. Why? Because communication is the foundation of a strong relationship. Kuweza kucommunicate, kuweza kujadiliana, kuweza kujiexpress kwa relationship. That is usually the foundation of a relationship. Ni sawa sawa? So when we are talking about communication matters sex, we are talking about talking to each other. Wakati, when you're having sex and there is pain, you have that freedom to express yourself. You can say, hey, leo nahisi uchungu sana, so I think we need to do something. We need to know where is the problem. Because utapata relationship zingine, couples ni kama wanaogopana. Unaona tu mtu anaumia kwa kitanda, kwa tu hapo amevumilia, amejishikilia hivi, anahisi uchungu but hataki kusema, for various reasons. But communication is very important so that you can be able to tell your partner your desires on sex, alright? How you feel about them, and even performance, feedback on performance. Sometimes, in a relationship, you need to say, leo sijasikia vizuri sana. The next day, leo iko sawa kabisa. That communication is very important. So, something else, when we talk about communication, is also telling your spouse which style is the best for you. Unajua, there are so many sex styles. Munazijua hizo najua, you are experts on that. So, you have the freedom to communicate to your partner wako, na mimi hii ka style hainigii vizuri, hii ka style hiyo ka utamu ya hii style inakuwa zaidi kuliko ya ile nyingine. So mastyle ni mingi, kama unataka missionary, mwingine anataka sijui cowgirl, mwingine cowboy, mwingine sijui anataka sijui doggy style, sijui mwingine leopard style, mwingine anataka eagle style, sijui whatever the style that you want. So you are able to communicate, you are able to express your feelings and emotions about sex. All right, that is very important. Now the second thing, so that you may not dwell much on that, is traumatic experiences. So traumatic experiences are known to have a very profound effect, negative effect on sex. Let me give you a good example. Maybe uko kwa relationship na mtu alikuwa raped ama sodomized wakati alikuwa myang. That means huyu mtu ako traumatized. So definitely that trauma, it's going to affect your sex life as a couple. Because maybe huyo mtu kama alikuwa, maybe for example if it was raped, anaonaka wanaume anaanza kutetemeka. Anaonaka mwanaume tu hivyo akitoa kitu yake, anaanza kutetemeka. So definitely that person is not going to participate actively during sex. Kwa nini? Because when you're having sex, yeye atakuwa anakumbuka venye alikuwa abused. And definitely that is going to affect how you're going to enjoy sex together. So even if it is a case of sodomy, so if you are a man and you are sodomized, all right? So definitely that is going to affect your sex life as a couple. So it's very important. If your couple or your partner akona trauma related to sex or any other form of trauma, it's very important for it to be addressed. Muende musike help, mudiru nayo kwanza, because it's definitely going to affect your sex life. Tuko pamoja? Good. And the reason why we are saying that trauma is going to affect your sex life is because trauma usually shapes someone's attitude. So kama alikuwa raped, attitude yake about sex ni baya. Also, it usually shape issues to do with intimacy. So when you are trying to be intimate with this person, they won't respond. All right? So that's why it's very important. Go address the issue of trauma. Jua kama huyu mtu ashaikuwa abuse ama ashaipitia trauma yenye ina affect sex life yenu. All right? That is very important. Now, the second thing is lack of skills or proper knowledge on sex. I was watching a certain episode ya Herein, you know Herein Goge, mwenye anafanyaga shows za anafanya ma-interviews, anafanyia watu ma-interviews. So I was watching a certain episode, and maybe utaenda kwa channel yake utaipata, Herein Goge. So there's this lady mwenye alikuwa anasema, yeye aliolewa, yeye na husband wake, they had zero information about sex. They knew there's something called sex, but they didn't know where to start, because yeye akiolewa alikuwa virgin. Huyo jamaa akimuoa, yeye alikuwa jamaa wa kanisa pale mbele. Sisemi watu wa kanisa ni wabaya, lakini hiyo information hawatakagi kunini sana. It's like just like the other day we had a webinar about sex. So nikapost kwa group fulani ya kanisa. Somebody ili akani criticize akasema, ni hizi tabia gani unakuja kupost hapa na unajua this is a church group. And we know very well, watu wa kanisa si mko na watoto. Hata kama wewe ni pastor, hata kama wewe ni nani, si uko na mtoto. Kwani wewe mtoto mliokota kwa barabara, you had sex, maybe hata hiyo asubuhi before muende kanisa mtoa mlikuwa mmeshughulikiana. All right? So let's stop pretending like because we are Christians we do not talk about these things. Let me not go to that direction more. So what I was saying is so this lady alikuwa anasema, so sisi tukiingia kwa marriage we knew nothing. So hiyo usiku ya after wedding, hiyo usiku ya wenye walifanya harusi, so nothing happened. All right? They tried it didn't work. They went even to a point of asking the prophetess, wakaenda mpaka wakaambiwa lazima wafanye surgery na vituko zingine mingi. So lack of information and knowledge about sex inaweza kufanya usienjoy sex. Ni sawa sawa. So the other aspect of skills and knowledge is how you do it. Okay? Unajua watu wengi kwa sex, watu wengi wakati when you have to have sex, wengine some of you are just attacking one another. Ni kama ni kuattack. Ni kama umeshika tu mtu umemrukia within 2 seconds kitu iko ndani, and then after a few other seconds mumemaliza hiyo shughuli. No, stop attacking one another. Kwani ni vita? Yes, marinate each other, marination. So these days chakula inakuwa tamu, hizo chakula zenye unaweza marinate. So marinate each other, marinate, marinate your wife vizuri, muguze pale anataka kuguzwa, foreplay, what we call foreplay. You need to have knowledge on that. Okay? You need to know wife yako ni wapi anaguzaga wa dunia inalegea. Kama ni magoti huwa anaguzwa, guza magoti vizuri. Kama ni makucha, guza makucha. Kama ni makwapa, tiko yeye vizuri. Stop just jumping on each other and then within a few seconds you are done. No. That's like attacking one another. marinate your spouse, prepare them well. The reason why you should prepare each other well, physically and emotionally and psychologically, all that, is because when you're doing sex, proper preparation usually ensure that there is enough lubrication. Najua mnaelewa chenye naongea kuhusu. Yes. So kama mmeanza ku have sex, kutereza ni vizuri. Hakuna hizo forces zinafanya mkuwe na friction mingi. So when you prepare each other psychologically and even biologically before you have sex, so lubrication is there. Okay? So you won't have challenges and you won't have painful sex. But hii ya kurukiana, kuatakiana, umekuja umerukia huwa na mumeanza maneno na after a few seconds mumemaliza. So you need to stop that. Okay? So marinate each other vizuri so that you can prepare each other for the act so that you can also enjoy it. Ni sawa sawa. Wekaneni kwa mood. Okay? So that you can both enjoy it. So the other thing about knowledge is that you need to know ni wapi bibi yako anaguzagwa vizuri, alafu ni hivyo. Maneno inaishia hapo. So anapata kama ni orgasm. Alright? You need also to know your man. Ni wapi anaguzagwa vizuri ama ni wapi, ni nini anafanyiagwa na ni hivyo yeye ameenjoy sex. So you need to have that knowledge. And this knowledge you won't get it from Google. You won't get it from what? From YouTube. No, you won't get that from that. What you need to do is to explore one another. Ni sawa sawa. Mimi huwa naambia watu, sex, kupata experience ya sex, sio ati ni kumaanisha ati you have sex na watu wengi. Hapana. What we mean by having experience on sex is knowing that person mwenye, hiyo partner mmoja mwenye uko na yeye, umjue zaidi about sex. Alright? So, umjue deeply. Umjue, ni weak point zake ziko wapi, ni G-spot. G-spot iko wapi, after G-spot unajua, orgasm point iko wapi, all those things. Alright? So, explore sex together as a couple. Explore each other so that you can gain more experience, so that you can gain more knowledge on your spouse. Ni sawa sawa. So, have skills and have knowledge. Jua spouse wako, jua mpenzi wako, so that you can enjoy sex together. The other thing that is a barrier to enjoying sex is stress, depression, and anxiety. Ni sawa sawa. So, when we talk about stress psychologically, ukiwa na stress, ni gumu uweze kuenjoy sex, and especially for men. Alright? Unajua vizuri, wakati uko na sex, wakati uko na stress, na wakati uko na depression, ni gumu sana uweze kufix mind yako hapo. Like sasa ukiwa you are having sex, you are there psychologically, you are there emotionally, and you are there physically. Alright? Because sex involves all that. Ndio enjoy sex, lazima ukue hapo physically, lazima sasa ukue na kitu, we are talking about erection. Ukue na erection physically, ukue emotionally uko hapo, alright? Na ikue psychologically, you prepared and you are there. So when you have stress and depression, definitely psychologically, you are disrupted, you are distracted. So you cannot be able to enjoy sex properly. So stress and depression huwa inaweza zuia ukue na a good sex life as a partner or as a couple. Ni sawa sawa. So you need to deal with stress and depression so that you can be able to enjoy sex. Ni sawa sawa. Hope tunaendelea vizuri. The other thing that I've mentioned there is anxiety. Especially men, wanaume wengi wanakuwa na performance anxiety when you talk about sex. And some of them is because ile time uli have sex mara ya kwanza ilikuwa 2 seconds. Alright? Na ukamwaga na story ikaishia hapo. 2 seconds. So if you base your first experience, definitely wanaume wote mnajua ile mara ya kwanza uli have sex, hauwezi kutudanganya ati ulienda round 7. Kwani wewe ni nani? Ulisikia wapi? So mara ya kwanza lazima kila mwanaume most likely ulienda kashot kamoja na kalikuwa kashot. It was one shot which was very short. Okay? It was actually shorter than the shortest it has ever been. So maybe some 1 minute, some 2 minutes, some 45 seconds. Wengine hata before anything happened already kuguzwa tu kidogo hivi ulikuwa already wewe maneno umemaliza. Alright? So those experiences, if you base your sex life ama your ability to have sex based on your first encounter ama based on one incident of sexual encounter, then you're going to have anxiety, performance anxiety, and also utakuwa na low self-esteem. Ni sawa sawa. So you need to work on that as a man. Make sure that you do not have performance anxiety. Stop basing your performance in bed based on a single event or a single day which you are not able to perform. Ni sawa sawa. So deal with stress and depression, and then deal with anxiety issues. All right. All right. So now the other thing, or the other point. All right. All right. Now the other thing that is going to prevent you enjoy sex in marriage is alcohol and drug abuse. So those people who use alcohol and cigarette and other drugs, they have low chances of enjoying sex. Ni sawa sawa. So if you want to enjoy sex as a couple, reduce your alcohol intake. Or if possible, don't just take it at all. Cigarette wachana nazo, madrugs zingine wachana nazo. They may not affect you right now, but in long term, they are going to affect you. So alcohol and drug abuse is going to affect your ability or your chances of enjoying sex in marriage. Now, the other thing is sexual dysfunctions. Sexual dysfunctions. In the next juncture, nitaongea kuhusu sexual dysfunctions, so kindly allow me not to address that as this juncture. But that's one of the issues that are going to make you not be able to enjoy sex as a couple. Now, the last thing that I want to mention in this category of barriers that will prevent you from enjoying sex as a couple is emotional undercurrent. Emotional undercurrent are those issues that you have not been able to solve as a couple. Maybe mlikuwa mumefight asubuhi na hamukulisolve. Definitely jioni kuhave sex itakuwa shida. Kwa sababu huyu bado amekasirikia huyu, hamjaweza kulisolve hiyo issue. Alright? You need to first deal with that issue. Maybe during the day, mulikosana tu, there was a fight, there was a disagreement, there was a misunderstanding, and you have not been able to deal with that. And let me tell you, disagreements are okay in a relationship. Ni sawa sawa? Yes, fights are okay in a relationship as long as they do not go to the extreme where one person is injured. Okay, as long as haijafika kwa ile physical abuse or emotional abuse, as long as it's not extreme, you are just arguing about a few things. We'll talk about that some other day, but that's okay. But if you have not been able to resolve those issues, kuna tu issues tu zinawasumbua kwa relationship hamujaweza kudeal, that's going to affect your sex life. So kama mnataka kuenjoy sex couples, first deal with hiyo tu underlying issues. Hizo tu mambo bado hamujaresolve, mumekosana, sijui huyu alikataa kuchukua simu, sijui huyu alifanya nini asubuhi, sijui huyu alifanya nini, sijui nimemuona akicheat, those kind of things. First deal with them because they are going to affect your sex life. Ni sawa sawa? Good. Now those are some of the things. There are many others. But those are the key things that are going to prevent you from enjoying sex. Now, let us go direct to sexual dysfunctions. All right? So when we talk about sexual dysfunctions, when we define sexual dysfunctions, these are persistent and recurring sexual issues. Persistent and recurring. Inajirudia na inakaa kwa muda. All right? So ladies and men both have sexual dysfunctions. Ni sawa sawa? You know, mostly watu hufikiria ati wanaume tu ndio wanakuwa na sexual dysfunctions, but even ladies usually have sexual dysfunctions, and those are the ones that I want to address right now. Let's start with ladies. So these are some of the sexual dysfunctions ladies wanaweza kuwa nazo. The first one is low sexual desire. When you talk about low sexual desire, this is a lady mwenye hana desire ya sex. This lady is not on her period. Maybe it's your spouse, she's not on her period, so si ati akona ile issue ya kukataza sex. And also she is not sick, so si mgonjwa. And there is no any other issue physically or emotionally or psychologically ama yenye inamfanya ama biologically yenye inamfanya asikupatia ama asikukabidhi, asikukupea wewe kama bwanake ama kama spouse wake. So now that's what we call lack of sexual desire. So kila wakati ukimwambia mimi nataka unikabidhi ama nataka I want us to have sex, so yeye anakuambia I'm not in the mood. Every time that wewe unataka yeye hataki. All right? So most of the times yeye hataki na si mgonjwa na hana any other issue, so that person has a dysfunction that we call low sexual desire. Na hii maneno yote yenye nitaongea kuhusu, all of them have solutions. So sometimes you need to go, if you have this, if they are recurrent and persistent, go ask for help. Ni sawa sawa? So the other thing is sexual arousal disorder. That is another sexual dysfunction. most of you guys, I know you'll be surprised to know that even ladies usually get an erection and they are usually aroused sexually. Sio mwanaume peke yake anakuwa aroused ama anakuwa na erection. Alright? So let me tell you something. As a lady, when for example, you're being stimulated and then maybe unasikia breast zako zimejikaza, nipples zimesimama, and then maybe unaanza kutoa some secretions huko nini ground floor, So that is you are sexually aroused and some part of it is erection. Alright? So there are some ladies who usually don't get sexually aroused. So huyu mtu hata ujaribu kumuguza aje, hata ujaribu kumuibia aje, ama hata ujaribu kumforeplay aina gani, kukuwa aroused kwake ni shida. Alright? So then that's what we are calling a disorder. Kama iko recurrent na kama iko ina happen mara mingi na ina happen for a long time. So that's a disorder. You need to go and seek help. The other one is orgasmic disorder. Inability to achieve an orgasm. Alright? So when I talk to most ladies, ama wengi wenye wanakujaga to me for counseling about sex, wananiambiaga mimi nasikiaga ladies wakisema kuna orgasm, ati ladies wanapataga orgasm na shida hiyo orgasm inatokaga wapi ama inanunuliaga wapi. It is, most ladies don't know what orgasm is. Most ladies hata wanasikiaga orgasm na sijui na kusquat, wanashindwa hiyo how do you achieve that? Alright? So there are people who have it as a disorder. But kuna wale wengine wenye wanaikosa kwa sababu there is no enough stimulation. Hakuna ile niliita foreplay, you are not sexually aroused. So ni wale wakurukiana na maneno mumemaliza. So ndio nikasema unafaa marinate each other. Okay? So in sex you need to marinate one another. So if you have not been properly marinated, then definitely you are not going to be sexually aroused. So orgasm is going to be a challenge for you. So for a lady to achieve orgasm, and listen to me, because it's possible and there are some and there are many who usually experience that. What you need is to help your man to help you get an orgasm. Alright? As a lady. Ladies, you need to help your man to help you get an orgasm. Saidia huyo mwanaume ajue ni wapi ukiguzwa unasikia dunia imeachana. Ni wapi ukiguzwa unasikia utamu zaidi. Ni nini maneno gani akikwambia before sex inafanya ukue in the mood. All those kind of things. Help your man, help you get an orgasm. Alright? So also as a man you need to be creative. Try to help that lady. Because usikuwa ati ni wewe tu una enjoy sex, unapataka tu orgasm, ni wewe tu unafika climax peke yako. Hapana, hata huyo lady msaidie at least have a taste of the beauty of that. Ni sawa sawa. So how you can do that is be creative. Ikibidi uguse huyo dem nipples na uguse huko ground floor at the same time na whatever that you can, just do it. Alright? So help her to get an orgasm because she cannot do it by herself. Ni sawa sawa. So there are some who have it as a disorder na kuna wale wengine wenye kama imekuwa too much, then you need to go and seek for help because inaweza kuwa it's a disorder. Now, the last thing on the dysfunctions, sexual dysfunctions in women or ladies is sex pain disorder or sexual pain disorder. Sexual pain disorder ni kuhisi uchungu wakati mna have sex. So ndio tuseme ni disorder, you make sure that there is enough lubrication. Na sisemi siongei kuhusu nini aremis na siongei kuhusu mate. Alright? Those are alternatives which are not advised for. Ila foreplay ndio itasaidia nini lubrication ikue. Kama ni already akue wet vizuri. Wacha tuongee maneno. If it's already akue properly wet so that there can be enough lubrication. So if the lady is not wet huko downstairs, then definitely wewe mwanaume ukijaribu kufika kule ndani, yes, kwenda kisimayu, so definitely that friction is going to cause some pain. And it can even cause wounds, and that's where now the pain comes in. So you need to be properly lubricated, or there need to be proper lubrication to be sure that it's a disorder. So if there's a lot of pain, which is consistent and recurrent, go and ask for help because those problems usually have solutions. Ni sawa sawa? Good. Let's go to men. Wanaume. These are some of the disorders which men have, sexual dysfunctions. The first one is erectile dysfunction. Alright? So when we are talking about dysfunctions, remember, sex has 3 stages. The first stage for sex is desire. The second stage is arousal. And the third stage is orgasm. All right? So if there is a challenge in any of those stages, then it becomes a disorder and you cannot be able to enjoy sex. If a man has desire, if a woman has the desire, if the man or the woman is sexually aroused, and if the man or the woman is getting the orgasm, then that relationship, that sex life is perfect. Nyinyi mko sawa kabisa. But if there is a problem in either of the stages, then definitely there are issues. So the first dysfunction in men is erectile dysfunction. Kitu ya mwanaume imekataa kusimama. Alright? So when imekataa kusimama, you know very well, without an erection, you cannot have sex. You need to have a good erection so that you can be able to penetrate. Ni sawa sawa? So if you don't have an erection, you cannot be able to enjoy sex. So inaweza kuwa wewe unapataga erection after umefanyiwa mass, umefanyiwa misa, lazima udansiwe, lazima urombonzerwo, unakwenda kurombonzerwo, whatever, lazima uguzwe sijui wapi, lazima all those things are done for you to get an orgasm. Then so not an orgasm but an erection, then that's a disorder. Because as a man, being sexually aroused or having an erection shouldn't be of a challenge. Unafaa ukiguzaguzwa tu kidogo kameamuka na kaelio kamesimama, kako tayari kutenda kazi, kako tayari men at work, kako tayari kufanya maneno. So if you're having a challenge with that, then tunakuambia uko na erectile dysfunction. Ni sawa sawa, and you need to seek help because that's unaweza saidiwa. So tukimaliza nitawaambia some of the things that you can do to be able to resolve some of these problems. So if your man has erectile dysfunction, you need also as a lady. Kwa kama ni lady, kama mwanaume wako kitu kusimama ni shida, wacha kumcriticize, wacha kumtusi ukimwambia wewe you are not a man enough, wewe ni mwanaume sijui mwanaume bure kabisa, wewe ni whatever. Don't start calling that man once. That's a common problem. Msaidie aende akasik help. Because ukiendelea tu kumtusi na kumwambia maneno baya, verbally abusing that man, then that's affecting both of you. Haimuaffect yeye peke yake because wewe pia huenjoy sex. Alright? So mnafaa msaidiane. Okay? Sio yeye peke yake ati ndiye anang'ang'ana na hii story. No. Help him. Okay? If it's arousing him properly, whatever the style you have to use, just use it to help him to get an erection. But ikizidi kabisa muone hii haiwork, go for help. And then msike help. Ni sawa sawa. So as a lady, wacha kutusi mwanaume wako ati juu hanaga erection. Wacha kumtusi ati juu because of he cannot maintain an erection. Go seek help because if you do that, he is going to have a low self-esteem. He is going to have performance anxiety, and definitely wewe mambo ya orgasm utakuwa unaona kwa gazeti, utakuwa unasikia kwa news, utakuwa unasikia na watu wengine. So help him now. Pale kwa ladies tulisema it's for the man, for you as a lady to help your man, help you get an orgasm. On this side now, also as a lady, help your man to stop the to have a good erection or to be able to have an erection. Ni sawa sawa. So let's not dwell much on that. The other thing is premature ejaculation. Premature ejaculation definitely ni kumwaga haraka. Alright? Tuongee ukweli. I want to use the local term yenye watu wengi wanajua. So, hii kumwaga haraka for a man, it's maybe a few seconds after penetration, this guy has ejaculated. Even before nini, hiyo mwanaume already amesha ejaculate. Wengine kuguzwa tu, chwa, chui, amemwaga. Kuguzwa tu hivi kidogo, kuguzaguzwa tu hivi, kama whatever ina happen, ameguzaguzwa, amekuwa stimulated kidogo, amemwaga. So, that's what we call premature ejaculation. But there's another category of men who usually ejaculate very fast. Shot ya kwanza amemaliza very fast, but erection haiishi, anaweza endelea ku have sex hata shot 70 kama anaweza ikuwe ni kirobot. But kama he can continue having sex even after the first one. The one that I'm talking about ni huyu mwenye amemwaga very fast na erection yake imeisha, kitu imerara na sex cannot continue. The disappointments are very high. The lady is disappointed because haja enjoy sex, and the man is also disappointed and anasikia akona shame and guilt because hajaweza kusatisfy the lady. Alright? So the shame is there. And these are some of the men wenye unapataka wanafikiriaga mwanamke ndiye shida. So sorry for that. So utapata hawa some of them ndio wanahanyaga zaidi. because anajaribu kutafuta yule dede mwenye hata kuwa ana nini haraka, but you need to work on it as a couple. Sit down, we have, wewe mwanaume wangu uko na unamwaga haraka sana siku hizi, ama unamwaga haraka, so we need to seek help. Mimi si enjoy hii kitu because sekunde mbili wewe maneno umemaliza, so we need to seek help. Don't fight one another because of that. Sit down and talk about it with love. All right? And here, that's now where I tell men, mwanaume, kama unajua uko na kashida ya erection, kitu kusimama ni shida, hata ipigiwe drum, hata ipigiwe dance, ama hata uwekewe romantic music, ama hata uwekewe nini, uwekewe maua hapo, ama upewe jugu, ama upewe ujia power, ama upewe nini, maandasho yote yenye unaweza pewa, everything, kitu yako haisimami. Humble yourself. Wacha kukua na ego ingine. Hata already akikwambia wewe unajua siku hizi erection yako iko na shida, ama unamwaga haraka, unaanza kukuruka, nini asijui unaniambia. No, humble yourself. Uko na shida, tulia. Talk about it as a couple. Roa your ego. Wacha usaidiwe. Wacha tukwambiwe because uko na some sex issues, so wewe kuropoka, unaongea, unatusi bibi yako. No. Sit down, talk about it, see how you can go and seek help. All right? Where is the problem? Go seek help together. Because if you don't seek help for that, both of you are suffering. So mwanaume, kama unajua uko na issue ya sex, wacha kushida ati uko shy kuongea kuhusu hiyo story, you feeling shame. No, you shouldn't. Sit down with your wife, go ask each other, ni wapi tutatafuta suluhisho. If it's counseling, go for counseling. If it's medication, go for medication. We are going to talk about that. Ni sawa. So go and seek help. That's the second thing. The third issue, the third dysfunction is what we call Peyronie disorder ama Peyronie disease. Peyronie disease is a penis after an erection iko na curvature ama iko na deformity. Ni sawa. So, we know very well as adults, because najua ni adults naongea na wao. Penis ziko different sizes, ziko different shapes. All right? So, as a man, kama for example after you have umepata erection, your penis inajicurve kana hivi karibu kazunguke hivi kaguzane na hapa chini. It's a C, ni kama ni C. After having an erection inakaa C. Definitely you cannot be able to have sex. You cannot be able to have penetration na kitu inakaa C. So that's now what we call inakaa iko na curve. It's curved. It's so much curved such that penetration cannot happen. So that's a disorder. And that one nitawaambia solution yake ni gani. Ni sawa tukimalizia, because we are almost about to conclude. So that's another disorder. So usikae hapo ati kitu yako after erection inakaa C ama inakaa U ama inakaa Q, because inajicurve, so you need to go and seek help. Ni sawa. So now those are the disorders that usually zinakuwa kwa men. And let me just mention some of the causes that these disorders in men, sexual dysfunctions in men. The first one is obesity. Mwanaume kama uko na kitabu kilo 7, reduce. Ni sawa. Unajua kitabu tulikuwa tunalisha sugura, rabbits. So ni rabbit ama ni hare, whichever. So ndio ujue sugura ni ya kike ama ni ya kiume. Ulikuwa una nini tumiguu, unapata tumiguu yake, alafu unapuliza hapa chini. Ndio angalie ni ya kike ama ni ya kiume. Wanaume wengine wako hivyo. Uko na kitabu kubwa, such that hata you already akitaka kutafuta kitu pahali iko ndio penetration happen. So lazima ainue kitabu yako, anainua kitabu yako hivi, ndio huko chini ndio anatafuta your manhood pahali kamejificha, ndio why all this? All right? So kama ni mwanaume na uko na kitabu kubwa, ni ya nini? Reduce. All right? Obesity is one of the major causes ya sexual dysfunctions, because wakati uko na mafuta mingi hapa kwa belly, then definitely it will affect your performance. Hata utakuwa tu unafanya hivi mara mbili, umehema, umesweat kitanda mzima, hizo labda hiyo mattress itolewe nje ikaanikwe. Kama ni bed sheet zina nini hivi, zina drip sweat yako, because you are obese. All right? So as a man, make sure that you are not obese. Do some exercises. All right? Reduce. Kama ni kitabu ni kubwa, toa. Kama ni mafuta imejaa kwa mwili, hiyo toa nayo. Ni sawa. That's going to help. So the other cause is kama uko na hypertension, that also causes some of these dysfunctions. If you have diabetes, it also causes dysfunctions. So if you have stress, depression, kama venye tulikuwa tumesema, pia huwa ina cause hiyo. Ni sawa. So also high cholesterol levels, take ni mafuta cholesterol, ikuwa na cholesterol mingi kwa mwili. The other thing is lack of exercise, as I have mentioned. So you need to be physically fit for you to be able to enjoy sex properly. Ni sawa sawa. So those are just some of the causes that kukaa hapa sana. Sorry for that. And the major one also is alcohol and drug use. Hiyo msisahau. When you're using drugs, it's going to affect your sex life. Alright, now with that, I want us to conclude this video with treatment. How can we be able to, or how can your sex issues or dysfunctions be treated? We have two methods of treatment. We have what we call pharmacotherapy, and we have psychotherapy, cognitive or behavioral therapy. Ni sawa sawa. So unaweza enda kwa daktari, umwambie shida yenye uko nayo na akupee dawa. And sikiza vizuri, nimekwambia kwa daktari. Wacha kwenda kwa over counter chemist umenunua Viagra. Umeenda kwa over counter umenunua sijui dawa gani umeambiwa. No. First go for a check-up. Enda kwa daktari kwanza, akuangalie, ajue shida yako ni gani, ndio akupee dawa yenye inafaa. So that's one of the method of treatment. The other one is psychotherapy. It can either be behavioral, cognitive behavioral therapy. That is now generally cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitively or behavior. So cognitively, tunakusaidia reduce stress. Tunakusaidia reduce performance anxiety. Tunakusaidia reduce trauma kama uko nayo, and that's now where as counselors kama mimi we come in. So kama uko na sexual dysfunctions, you need to see a counselor ndio akusaidie. Just call me. Kama ni mwanaume unamwaga haraka, kama ni mwanaume kitu kusimama ni shida, kama ni mwanaume ama already una desire, upate orgasm, just call me, let me help you. Ni sawa sawa, namba yangu iko kwa bio, I believe. So just call me and then we are going to talk about that and we are going to address that. Na nyinyi nikisema mkuja niwasaidie, I'm not saying ati mkuja niwamarinate mimi mwenyewe, niwapatie orgasm. No, wewe sitaki vita za nyumbani. I'm saying you call me as a professional, nikufanyie counseling, nikupee counseling sessions professionally, nikusaidie ndio sasa uende kwa bwanako ama uende kwa boyfriend yako, so that now he can help you, ama both of you mnakuja counseling, and then I give you the services, both of them, counseling sessions. Ni sawa sawa. Unajua naweza sema unipigie simu nikusaidie ufikirie utakuja nikumarinate ndio nikupee orgasm. No, I'm not talking about that. So come for counseling, I'm going to help you. Behavioral now, ndio sasa nilikuwa naongea mambo ya styles. So behavioral now nakuja na kuuliza now. Behavioral kwanza, before you have sex, mnakuaga na foreplay. Kama hakuna foreplay, definitely is going to affect your sex. If style mnafanya gani, those kind of things. Mnakuja kama couples, so naongea hiyo maneno na mnatoka hapo kama mumesaidika. So that's two methods that are used to treat sexual dysfunctions: pharmacotherapy and cognitive behavioral therapy or psychotherapy. And also, when I was talking about curvature, you can have as a male, your sex organ, your penis, iko na curvature, so that one can be resolved through surgery. Ni sawa sawa, because in most cases utapata hiyo penis ikikaa hivi, kuna kitu iko hapa, kuna kitu inakuwa hapa inafanya hiyo penis ijikave. So what you do, unaona daktari, and then unaweza fanywa surgery, hizo tissues zinatolewa, then your penis inakuwa as straight as Lebanon trees, whatever. Yes, so inakuwa iko sawa. So surgery can also help on that side kama uko na issue ya curvature kwa penis yako, if you're having issues with your sex life. Thank you so much. I hope nimekusaidia leo to solve your sexual issues in your marriage, ama nimekusaidia ndio uweze kuenjoy sex kwa marriage. Ni sawa sawa. If you still have some questions, you can raise them in the comment section, ama uchukue namba yangu unipigie ndio niweze kukusaidia kwa hizo issues zenye uko nazo. At Newness Counseling Organization, we solve those problems for you. We restore your happiness and joy about sex in your marriage, and we restore your smile as a couple. Ni sawa sawa. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't kindly. Share this video with your loved ones. Weka tu hii linki kwa status yako, weka hii linki kwa nini, chukua ka section ya hii video, challenge kwa TikTok ama wherever else you want to put it, so that other people can learn more about what I've just talked about. Thank you so much. I'm not shy to address these issues because I want you to enjoy sex in marriage and in your relationship.